Let's have a conversation about men who are jealous of women. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling women and men who have experienced abuse as well as those who have been perpetrators of abuse and other violent crimes. I have a listener question, and she says, can you talk about men and jealousy? I've been dating men that I feel like are jealous of me, and it kind of ties into your post about insecure men, but I feel like these men specifically hate me and are mean to me because they are jealous of my career. They are jealous of the attention I get from other women and men. They want to be where I'm at in life, and I'm so confused as to why I keep running into this. It seemingly never seems to start out that way. I feel like an example is the men who see that I have a terminal illness, so they feel like I am a easy target to control. They come into my life and they realize I'm actually doing an excellent job of running my life. I have amazing friends who take love, who love and take care of me, constantly calling to check and make sure I'm okay. And the men absolutely hate to see this. I had teletherapy, and this guy that I dated, I found out he was secretly listening in on my sessions, and he got mad when I calmly confronted him on it. He tried to turn it back around on me somehow. He would also listen in on my work meetings and say things like, "You don't even do anything at work, but you make all that money." And then he would constantly roll his eyes. He would also talk bad about me to his family, to the point where I caught him telling lies to his mother about me, things that were completely not true. I eventually kicked him out of my house and got a restraining order. But since then, I have met men similar to him. This is what she says at the end. So thank you so much for writing that question. There is, I have so many different thoughts about this, but I'm going to try to, be concise and sort of, shoot straight to the point. One of the things that, really stood out to me first was that you had him in your home. And if you've been watching my posts over the last couple of weeks, I have had posts specifically about having men in your home playing house, having them over there, so it sounds to me like, I'm not sure why, but it sounds to me like you have men who you sort of have moved in your home, or you allow them to stay, you know, past their welcome. So it sounds like you need to have better boundaries around your home, around your space in general, and around your time. So for me, I don't allow anyone in my home. First of all, I don't allow people to stay in my home. Period. If it's like one night or something like that, that might be different, or like a special occasion, like holidays or something, that would be a little bit different. But just like, pack up your stuff and come move in with me. I don't do that. I have done that before years ago when I was younger. But now, now that I'm older, I don't recommend doing that. And go check out my posts that I have about that, about, moving in, shacking up and things like that. I just don't allow it. If he doesn't have his own, and he can't afford for you guys to go and buy together, go in together on a home, you probably don't need to be dating him. So there's something about you that's attracted to those who are less fortunate. That's what I will say there. And you sort of take them in and have them in your space. And of course, they're going to be sort of inventory. That's what people do. That's why I've said, I've also had other posts about successful women. You don't want to date men that are not successful, or not, at least not on the same caliber as you or above you. You don't want to do it because they're going to be pocket watching. The second thing is having boundaries around your time. As a therapist and as a person who works with clients, um, I would not do therapy. I do teletherapy quite a bit. I would not do therapy with you as your therapist when you have people moving about in your home. So one of the things that you would need to do is have space and time where, like, when you're doing certain things like therapy and work, nobody needs to be in your home. Regardless of how big your home is or whatever, you need that space, you need that privacy. And the same thing for work and things like that. I don't allow people in my home, even if they were a guest that's staying with me while I'm working, you need to go and leave. But even when I do my therapy with my therapist, no one can be there. So maybe that is a boundary that you need to have, that, like, even if it's family or whomever, like, I need total privacy in my home because and I'm talking specifically to the person that wrote this post, you don't have good boundaries. So you need to, first of all, you probably don't need to have anyone in your home for a while, because you need to tighten up on your own boundaries. You have allowed people to run amok in your home because, really and truthfully, the first time he listened, on anything, whether it be work, or your therapy sessions, the first time he said something slick, he should have been gone, dead, done, and over with, out of your life. But you didn't do that. And so when you don't check somebody and get rid of them right when they start being disrespectful and acting out of order, talking out of turn, making comments, guess what's going to happen? They're going to think that you're okay with it, and they're going to become even more egotistical. They're going to feel even more like they can insert themselves, and they're going to feel like they have a right to say things even when they don't, because you haven't checked that behavior and you haven't let him know, hey, this is my house where I domicile. This is my job. You're talking out of turn. He knows way too much about your finances and things like that, and you've allowed him to see that. So you need to maybe work on that. I would encourage you to work on, having boundaries, not allowing people in to your space, not allowing people to know so much about you and your job and how much you make. I'm not sure why he knows how much you make, but you want to, unless he's signing the checks that pay you, he should not have that sort of insight. So that is on you for not checking that behavior. It's also on you for saying, you know what, you need to get the hell up out of my house when he starts talking and popping gums and running off at the mouth. Because for me, and I've shared this with you all on the podcast and beyond. I've told you, when someone when at that first sign of disrespect, they need to go. Like at it's it. You can't really walk it back after that first sign of disrespect. So you've disrespected yourself. And by you disrespecting yourself, he feels like he's freely able to do it too, because he's been given free reign to do so. And I'm sorry if that sounds a little harsh and firm, but I'm just putting it out there, and this is just kind of what my take on it. And it sounds like, if he's so busy watching you at work and listening in on your therapy sessions, the next thing I would say is, does he have a job? Because it sounds like he doesn't have a job. And if he doesn't have a job and you've got him, popping his feet up on your bed and on your sofa, and he doesn't have a job, ma'am, you've got some work to do. You got a lot of work to do, and you don't need to be talking to anybody except for a therapist. And your therapist, if your therapist hasn't called that out on you, either you haven't been honest with her, or you might need to, start looking at a new one. And I don't mean to be talking out of turn about that, but there's some stuff going on there. But don't. The holidays are coming. Don't be taking in men who need housing. Don't do it. Thanks so much for writing. Hope that helps. And sorry if it was harsh. Bye-bye now.